It looks to be a tight race. You talk about your priorities. What exactly are they?
It is going to be a close election, but we're feeling very optimistic, and we're feeling very optimistic about the future of the country. I've set out 5 priorities today that are about growing our exports, that are about being at the forefront of being one of the world's leading sustainable food producers, making sure that we're moving to a low carbon economy by moving to renewable energy sources, upskilling our people so that we can take on the new jobs of the future, so particularly focused around the creative sector and the digital opportunities that are emerging in digital, and of course moving our tourism industry up the value chain. Tourism's huge for New Zealand, and we are seeing tourism starting to rebound after the pandemic. So those are the 5 areas that we're really focused on.
Well, the thing is, the economy is in recession, but over the weekend you said that it has turned the corner. What makes you optimistic?
The New Zealand economy certainly was buffeted at the beginning of the year by a cyclone that meant that we had what was called what we would term as a technical recession. So without the cyclone, we would not have been in recession, and most of the economists would agree with that, and most of the New Zealand economists would agree with that. But we lost, we did quite a lot of damage was done. We lost quite a lot of economic output during that period of time, and we're now starting to rebound from that. We're seeing our producers back up and running, and we are seeing the economy turning the corner. Economic growth is returning. Inflation is trending back down again, like a lot of countries around the world. We've seen a spike in inflation in the last 2 years. That's coming back down again. We've got very low unemployment still, and so a lot of those, underlying economic fundamentals should give us signs that we're on the road to recovery.
Absolutely. Are you happy where interest rates are? Are you happy where the New Zealand dollar is at the moment? And, how does that all play into what's going on with the economy? And how has China's slowdown affected you? It is your biggest trading partner.
I think we'd all like to see interest rates coming down again, but we know that we won't see that until we get inflation back down. So at the moment, economic forecasts are indicating we'll get inflation back down to within our target 1 to 3% range by the second half, or sometime in the second half of next year, and then we can expect to, hopefully see some easing of the interest rate pressure that people are under at the moment. The slower than expected recovery in the Chinese economy has had an impact on New Zealand, particularly in some areas. We've seen that the recent economic developments in China have had an impact on dairy prices, for example, which are very important to New Zealand's economy. It's one of the reasons why our government's been very focused on trade diversification. We've signed a free trade agreement with the UK, which is now in force, and we recently signed a free trade agreement with the European Union, which we're working to ratify both in the European Parliament and in the New Zealand Parliament. And then through the CPTPP, we see that there's a lot of opportunity for market diversification.
Well, as you're talking about, in some ways, geopolitics, how close are you to perhaps getting together, getting closer ties with AUKUS, as it were, the deal between the US, Britain and Australia? And does your nuclear-free policy actually prevent you from getting on board?
So the 3 partners to AUKUS, the UK, the US and Australia, are actually really important and long-standing partners for New Zealand in a range of different areas, including security, and we'll continue to work with them. The AUKUS arrangement itself is based around nuclear-propelled submarines, and our nuclear-free policy is pretty clear, so we're not part of that arrangement. But in terms of the AUKUS partners, we continue to work with them particularly through our 5-country agreements, which also includes Canada, and we'll continue to do that.